Jeff Bezos is the most publicly rich person, but the royal family in these Saudi Arabia, in these oil-rich countries in the Middle East, they have trillions of dollars.
Private wealth.
They have crazy money that they don't have to report.
If you received $1 every second from the day you were born, it would take you 11.5 days to become a millionaire, but 31.7 years to become a billionaire. People don't realize how enormous the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is. According to Forbes magazine, there are only 735 billionaires in America. However, how many are there actually? Because people like Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, or Mohamed bin Rashid are not on this Forbes list of richest people. And we can all agree that they are certainly not poor. But how is this list of the richest people actually compiled? According to Forbes' statements, the list is based on interviews with their employees, lawyers, asset managers, but they also try to directly communicate with these billionaires. And as you might guess, some simply cooperate while others do not.
These billionaires often don't want you to look under the hood, and they're constantly finding clever ways and different ways to filter their money, move it around, try to hide it, or just coming up with just new tax strategies.
This list of billionaires, therefore, includes those wealthy individuals who either directly cooperate with Forbes or whose wealth can be at least estimated based on publicly available data. For example, let's take Elon Musk. It is known that he owns roughly 13% of Tesla. If we look at Tesla's market value on the stock exchange, we find that it is over $700 billion. Therefore, we can currently estimate at least a portion of Elon Musk's wealth. However, there is a significant number of billionaires you have never heard of, and they want it to stay that way.
The list is really a list of individual billionaires rather than widespread family fortunes. And the same thing for people asking about Vladimir Putin or things like that. It's hard to break out where money is so intermingled with.
Moreover, both Forbes and Bloomberg have confirmed that they have no ability or means to track down these billionaires. Most people think of billionaires as extraordinary individuals like Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, people who have created companies that have become global phenomena. But that may not be the case in reality. In fact, you can become a billionaire in rather mundane ways. When Carrie Dolan, the manager of Forbes responsible for compiling this list of the wealthiest people, was asked about the typical billionaire that they cannot uncover at any cost, she described them as individuals who may have sold a company, let's say in the 1990s, for $250 million and then boringly invested that money in the stock market or real estate. So, if you had invested $200 million in the S&P 500 index back in 1992, you would have over $4 billion in that stock index today, making you a multi-billionaire. Thus, to become just a billionaire, you actually needed much less. Some of you may be thinking right now, Invest Guide, you've gone completely crazy. Where am I supposed to get $100 million? And of course, I'm not saying that $100 million is a small sum. It is a huge sum. I'm just saying that even if you have or sell a portion or the entire company for $100 million, you still won't be in the spotlight of magazines like Forbes, Bloomberg, or automatically included in any billionaires list. You would easily slip through this list. And of course, there are billionaires around the world who enjoy displaying their wealth. Then there are billionaires who prefer to remain anonymous but have founded companies that are extremely large today, and their anonymity cannot be maintained. And finally, there's a significant group of billionaires who want to stay hidden, who want to remain undisclosed. But why? The question is, why do they do it? Why do they want to stay out of the public eye when they are so wealthy? After all, some public exposure or fame could only help them in business. So, let's answer that right away. The first reason is quite clear because not everything that glitters is gold. If it is publicly known that you are extremely wealthy, you mostly want to hide it. And there are several reasons for that. The first reason is that there are numerous problems associated with being publicly known. And I believe that most of you have at least once in your lives wondered what it would be like to be a celebrity, to be publicly known. And when you actually become publicly known, you start to quickly understand the negative aspects associated with this public exposure. If we look, for example, at winners of large sums in lotteries, right after their win, they face crowds of people asking for money, various lawsuits, or they simply attract different asset managers who naturally want to help with their wealth. Statistics even say that winners of large sums in lotteries have 7 to 8 times higher chances of declaring personal bankruptcy than someone who has never won anything in their life. Publicly known, Very wealthy individuals are often targets of various attacks, extortion, and so on. Sure, if you're a billionaire, you can hire security. However, it's not exactly ideal to go through life with 2 bodyguards behind you. For this reason, this group of very wealthy individuals has favored cryptocurrencies in recent years. The second reason why secret billionaires do not want to be on Forbes' list of the richest people on the planet is that they simply don't want to be included among those who simply paid for that spot. Because Forbes is a medium like any other, and you can very easily pay for a PR article that places you among this, let's say, business elite, without necessarily deserving that place. The editor-in-chief of Forbes himself says that approximately 25% to 30% of the entire printed magazine consists of advertisements. So, simply put, the third and fourth page of the entire magazine is just advertising. Forbes is essentially paid advertising. So, if you are a starting entrepreneur or need to enhance your PR or want more people to know about you, you can pay for your spot in this prestigious business magazine. However, this also comes with problems. The American Forbes, for example, has had many issues in the past with paid advertising or even these articles. You may recall instances from the American Forbes where Bankman-Fried, from the bankrupted and embezzled FTX exchange, or Elizabeth Holmes from the fraudulent company Theranos, were praised by Forbes, and both ended up in prison.
It was once an honor to be among Forbes' annual selection of 30 innovative business people under 30 years old. But in recent years, more and more individuals who have appeared on the list have ended up behind bars.
And these two were really just a very small tip of the iceberg. It becomes very difficult to distinguish who is being talked about because someone paid for their spot here, and who is being written about because they are truly a very good entrepreneur, businessman, or financier. And, of course, many of these so-called secret billionaires do not want to be mixed with those who simply paid for their place. A third and significant reason why many billionaires prefer to remain anonymous is fear. They are afraid that when their wealth becomes public, for example, that they are now billionaires, their customers will stop buying from them because people like to support local businesses, those small entrepreneurs. But how does a small, struggling entrepreneur become successful? Well, naturally, their wealth increases as they become more successful. Therefore, these wealthy and successful entrepreneurs do not want to be seen, fearing that their customers will stop buying from them, which would harm their business. And let's not forget that if you're a publicly known billionaire, everyone tries to take advantage of you wherever they can. Honestly, if you're a billionaire, it is assumed that if you didn't inherit all your wealth, you must be a fairly competent entrepreneur. A smart entrepreneur can have the chance to remain a billionaire longer than a foolish one. When we discussed why the majority of billionaires prefer to remain in secrecy and not appear in public, let's talk about 3 major billionaires or families whose wealth is mostly speculative, but it's clear that they are not exactly destitute. The first one you definitely won't find in Forbes, but it's clear to everyone that he has some wealth, is Vladimir Putin. There's speculation that his wealth could be between $200 and $300 billion, which would catapult him to the top of the world's richest people. But of course, you won't find him on the list. Even greater wealth is attributed to the Saudi royal family, whose wealth primarily comes from oil and Dubai businesses. Their wealth is estimated to be in the hundreds of billions of dollars. And we must not forget the Rothschild family, whose wealth dates back to the 16th century and is known for their very peculiar Illuminati parties, where participants wore animal heads or animal parts. However, it's important to remember that nobody has everything. When I was researching information for this video, I came across a discussion where someone mentioned having dinner with Sylvester Stallone, who seems to have everything: fame, money, a wife, daughters. But it was forgotten that he also had a son who died young. Everything is about perspective, and nobody has it all. And in the end, all the chips we play with during our lives are either collected on the table or passed on to someone else. So, if you want to learn more about investing, company analysis, investment news, and stay updated, I'll be looking forward to seeing you in our investment community on our Patreon. You can find the link in the video description. Take care.